We are here for Festa Italia, and I am joined by two special guests. I have Marisa and Valentina from the Donnici Club of Hamilton.
So we're going to make a very authentic dish, a dish that my mom and dad would make at least once a week growing up. And this is the perfect time of year because we have such beautiful fresh produce from the garden. And I have to put in a plug. These beautiful tomatoes are from our president, Michele Bozzo, so thank you. And making a fresh tomato sauce means starting with beautiful fresh tomatoes. And they have to be really ripe in order to get the best kind of sauce. So these have already been washed in my kitchen at home. And so what I'm gonna show you is just how to core them. We want obviously the core and the stem taken out. And we're going to do a very rough chop, seeds and all, because we're making a very authentic sauce. So see that yellow part, that green part? We don't want that in our sauce. So it's a very rough chop. If it's not the season for fresh tomatoes, then you'd want to purchase the best puree that you can afford, right? So these would be way too ripe to eat like this, but perfect for a sauce. So we're gonna bring these over, nice big pot. Just add them to it, put a lid on it, and my heat is about medium to high, and it's gonna go maybe 10 minutes or so. We'll know because they'll start to boil.
Okay, so now that we have the tomato sauce started, Valentina, you're gonna make some fresh pasta for us today, aren't you?
Yes, we are making a special pasta that in Calabria and especially in Cosenza, we call this type of pasta lagane. There is no proper translation in English, I'm sorry. Okay, so what you need is some semolina flour, pinch of salt, and some olive oil. For now, 1 egg, okay, because I'm making a very little quantity. Okay, you start to stir it, okay? To mix. And if you need some water, you add some water. In the traditional way, you don't use the eggs, you just add the water with flour.
I noticed while you're doing that,
Yeah?
Marisa's behind me. She's not leaving that sauce to herself. She's keeping an eye on that to make sure, right?
You know, that like all the traditional recipe, some people say, give me the recipe, but sometimes there is no, like, you know, a real recipe because back in the past, and even right now, Italian, they just go by the feeling, see?
So that's a nice dough.
Yeah. So I will just use some other flour and I will cut in little pieces. You usually leave the dough resting for 10 minutes and then you start to roll the pasta with the pasta machine, ensuring that there is enough flour. In this way it won't stick in between the roller. And you start with a high level, so it's 6-7 level, and you go thinner and thinner, okay? Not too much thinner. So now I did already the 6 and I'll go around 3 because this pasta doesn't need to be so thin, okay? Okay, the next step is to always make sure there is enough flour on top of your sheets of pasta from both sides. I'll do traditionally, in the very way as at the beginning, without this machine, our parents were making tagliatelle, another type of pasta. So I will just start rolling.
This is a very traditional way.
Yeah.
Of doing pasta.
Okay, once it's rolled, just cut a bit these edges over here. And then I make some strips that are like, you know, 4 centimeters or less. And carefully, I open up the strip. And because there is the flour, it won't stick. You can leave the pasta in this way and boil it and eat as long as it is. But traditionally, the way how my mom always told me, and I always eat this type of pasta, we cut them in a little strip, cutting them sideways, in this way.
So Mark, can I ask you to get the tomatoes and bring them on over? So they've been cooking for about maybe 10-15 minutes. And you'll see here that they're very soft. And we're ready to use a food mill. It's a very fine sieve that I have there because I want to stop all the seeds and the skin from going through. So I'm going to give this a quick whirl here. And so you notice that it's pushing everything through. And we're just going to quickly put this through. It takes no time at all. Beautiful puree. So as you go through, you're going to get this passata or puree, and this is what we use. So I'm just going to show here at the bottom, you'll get this nice thick puree. You do not want to miss out on this because that's what really gives your sauce such nice sustenance, okay? We are good. I'm going to add this to the big bowl. There we go. And so now this is ready to cook. So this is the puree that we'll use to make our sauce. So I'm going to use some garlic. We're going to add the garlic with extra virgin olive oil. We've got some peperoncino, right? And if I could ask you to get the oregano, and we'll add the basil too. Okay, so let's head over to the stove. Sure. So we're going to give it a good drizzle of olive oil. So remember that the olive oil is actual flavoring, right? It's not just oil that you're adding. And we're going to add the garlic, and if we have a spoon, we can maybe give that a little stir. Traditionally, Calabrese like spice, right? So we're going to add some peperoncino there. There we go, good enough. And we're going to add a little bit of the oregano. So as soon as the garlic starts to sizzle and go golden, then we're going to add the puree. And the number one rule, do not burn the garlic, right? If you burn garlic, that's it. There's nothing else you can do. You got to start from scratch, right? You've been there? I've been there. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So we're going to add the sauce. And do you have your spoon handy?
I do.
All right, so we're going to add this. Yep, there we go. Thank you. Love that sound. Okay, beautiful. And the basil, we're not going to chop it up. We're just going to add it right in. So this is going to cook for, I'm going to say at least 30 minutes, maybe 40, 45 minutes. You'll know when it's ready, when it's reduced by about, I'm going to say maybe half, right? Okay. And I think Valentina is ready to add the pasta to the water. So the water has to be boiling. Yeah. And she's just adding a little bit of vegetable oil, just so that the noodle doesn't stick, right? The pasta doesn't stick. And you're adding salt. Right. And it's got to be salty like the sea. So Valentina is going to be adding the pasta, and because it's fresh pasta, it doesn't take long to cook. Would you say about, what, a minute, 2 minutes?
Minutes.
Yeah. And it's going to rise to the surface?
Yes.
Okay. And because we have a smaller pot here and we have a good portion of pasta, you're going to do it in batches.
Yes.
So you're going to get dry chickpeas, whatever brand you prefer. And I use the Instapot. I love it. You know, in 45 minutes, I have beautiful, soft, creamy Chickpea beans, right? If you're not going to use an Instapot, then you do it the old-fashioned way. You soak them overnight and then let them cook for about 3 hours, that's right. Making sure you have plenty of water, right? So we're ready for the pasta. Valentina, bring it on over. No, you've been busy cooking. There it is, beautiful. So we're going to just pour it in here. And this is the sauce that I had already pre-made. So how much Chickpea beans do you add? Well, it depends on your preference. I'm going to say that much. Yeah, I think that's a good amount. And if you like more, you can certainly add some more while you stir. Yeah. I'm going to add a little bit more sauce. Now this, it makes for a wonderful, wonderful dinner. The sauce is covering the pasta, but it's not swimming in it, right? Yep. And Mark, can I ask you to add the cheese? Sure. I have a beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano. Beautiful. So you're going to go for about 10 minutes.
No problem.
Yeah, we want lots of cheese on there. Oh, I think that's delicious. Just like that. And we're going to plate it up. There we go. Wow, look at that. Maybe a little bit more cheese. Does that not look luscious?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Can't wait.
This is pasta and ceci. Very traditional Donnicese, so it was our pleasure to be here and represent the club, and I hope we've done the club proud in making this very traditional dish.
And I want to thank Michelangelo's again for letting us use this fantastic facility and allowing us to film in this kitchen.
There you go, you got to give it a try.
Thank you.
Valentina, we're going to scoop some up for you.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, beautiful. There we go, I'll take this part.
Fantastic.
Really good?
Light and fresh. Tasty, delicious.
And the Chickpea beans are nice and creamy, aren't they? This is dinner.
I feel like I'm at home in Calabria.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
Well, we'd also like to thank Fest Italia too for
Yes.
allowing us to share this dish with you. We really hope you give it a try.